Mic seems quiet. Hello? Any better? Not much better? Any better now? Yeah, the font I use for the starting soon screen, any numbers are quite small. Not really? Is it full though? Oh god. The mic is it full? It's a full blast. This is like I can put a gain on the microphone or something. Right, tell me any better now? There's a bit of gain on it. Hi, Emmy. Too loud or better? Okay. Fireworks already? Boys need to chill out. Hello everyone. It's not even Halloween yet. We're back in court today, boys. Back in court. We did our investigating. Now we sit back. 23rd of February, 9:23 AM, the Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. I'm only about halfway through Campaign 2 Emmy, so no spoilies. I thought you stopped watching Campaign 2 Emmy, did you not? Because of like the main theme, which I'll not spoil. Like, did it get to a stage where you were okay to continue watching it? Ah! You alright there, Suski? I need to move my mouse pad again so I can lounge my arm. This is it then, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. It's time to put an end to this now. To the miserable curse that has been plaguing Mr. Natsume, to everything. I'm caught up on Campaign 3 and still afraid of the current Campaign 1 arc. I am in the second part of the newest Campaign 3 episode. I'm watching that today. It's very good. What episode of Campaign 1 are you on? 28? Oh, okay. Yeah. Very relevant Campaign 3. No spoilies. In my own small way, I shall do everything I can to help you. I always appreciate your help, Mr. Sato. Suffering so selfishly sidelined. Ah! Good morning to you too, Mr. Natsume. Good morning. Good morning, locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Listen to you two chatting away happily as if the main player of today's trial isn't here. Why would you do that? Why? Oh dear, we didn't mean to cause offense, Mr. Natsume. I'll text someone here. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. I am running a test. Fine. Blip blah blip blah. I thought perhaps that because you had your eyes shut so tightly, you were meditating, finding inner calm. I seemed wrong to disturb you. I was waiting. What's the matter, Mr. Natsume? You seem different somehow today. Why, naturally, it's because I've attained spiritual enlightenment. The path of literature, you see, is a journey to discover one's own death. Or such like. That's the sort of morning conversation I was hoping for. That's why I had my eyes shut. Aye. That's the signs, I'm afraid, somehow. You'll have to forgive me. You mustn't talk of your path leading you to death, Mr. Natsume. Have a just an example. Oh yes, there it is. Inner calm. You barely came to see me at all yesterday. I was sure you'd abandoned me. I returned to our beautiful long-lost homeland. You'd not even been in Great Britain a week yet. Yes, well, anyway. I intend to set everything straight in court today. I'm determined to uncover the truth. I've actually reached an important decision myself. Oh? What sort of decision? I shall fill you in after the trial. Alright. He's going back to Japan probably, right? Because he was there in the first case, which takes place after this. It would seem Mr. Sholmes isn't coming today after all. It's a very clever message, I think. My dear fellows, you must win this battle on your own merits. Very clear message, I think. He's overslept again. The great detective, my arch nemesis. Long may he stay away, if you ask me. Defendant and your legal representative, the trial is about to begin. Make your way into the courtroom immediately. Here we go. Today, once again, we face the Reaper. And when the Reaper stands for the prosecution, the defendant's fate is sealed. But I don't believe in that legend any more than I believe in Suzuki-san's curse. The truth is hidden here somewhere, and I won't let it escape me. I have to keep believing in my client, and keep fighting to the very end. That's all. I saw some more gameplay footage for Scorn today as well. I'm like, oh. I hope it's good. We're definitely playing on stream if it's good. 23rd of February, 9:40 AM. The Old Bailey courtroom. There's Van Zieks. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, not doing the bed again, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. Yes, the defense is ready. Very good. And now I call upon the 6 ladies and gentlemen of the jury, chosen by the lot to represent the will of the people in this trial. Are you ready to proceed? Absolutely. Justice will be done, you mark my words. I feel obliged to say, I feel especially ruthless on days when my hat is sitting just right. Oh, well, I wonder if you could adjust my hat for me, and please be as ruthless as you think. Thieves deserve to die if you ask me, especially gas thieves. I have no sympathy for the man at all. Look, I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again now. I don't have time for this. I've got my own problems. Oh, may the Lord show us all the light here and lead his flock to a righteous verdict again today. Team building night tomorrow for work. Ooh. Now, Lord Van Zieks, what can you tell us? The prosecution's report, please, for the court. In relation to the theory expounded by the defense yesterday, regarding the defendant's T. Spell that T, Queen, yes. So he does have the results. Oh, they got it tested. Please die for trying to survive. It's her company, can't expect her to be reasonable. Treat him like a human being? What? Huh? No thanks, man. Before the prosecution delivers the black news about the black tea belonging to the blackguard in the dock. Hi, Pearl. Pray, allow me a moment to savor a liquid of a more sanguine hue. In fact, I'll defer to the good detective for the report. There he is, hey? Here's to you, Inspector. Hi, chat. I have started reading A Study in Scarlet by Arthur Conan Doyle. The first fucking little moves aren't good. The first Sherlock Holmes book. Fucking Gregson's a character from it? I didn't know that. Gregson is a Sherlock Holmes character. I'm a fake fan, I didn't know that. I was saying to Noodle as well, when he's talking in the book, it was very hard not to picture him like chomping on a cone of fish and chips. But yeah, Gregson's a Sherlock Holmes character. Him and Lestrade are the two main detectives that he works with. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. As indicated by the defense, we found a bar of soap just outside the victim's window in the snow. And there was indeed a frozen reddish liquid and a little depression on the top of it. Yes, that's the tea. That's what Mr. Natsume brought with him that night. Well, the brains at the yard analysed it, and yes, you're right, it was tea. And there wasn't a trace of strychnine or any other toxic substance in it. Let's go. No poison at all. In other words, the tea that the defendant brought with him to the victim's room is innocent. It's in the clear. What a revolution! As I suspected. This makes it quite clear. The defendant, Mr. Suzuki Natsume, is blameless here. Oh. My learned friend is jumping to conclusions again. A typical Nipponese reaction. Alright, Van Ziek, so okay. What? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Like in the original translation, I think it says like, what would a Japanese writer write as an English person making a Japanese slur? I'd be curious what it actually is. Is it just Nipponese or something like that, or something close to it? Yes, it's true. No poison was found in the few drops of liquid recovered from the soap on the window ledge. But what logic is that? It's just like a curiosity thing. Would you take a drop from the Thames and conclude that the water in the ocean isn't salty? My word, the water in the ocean is extremely salty, Counsel. Exactly. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Oh, definitely. That's exactly what it is. I'm more just like curious, like if you're playing this game in the original Japanese, what is the word they use? Like what does it exactly say? You know. Unfit for drinking, just as the victim's tea was on the night in question, as the court has already heard. Bitter was the precise word from the lips of Mr. William Shamspeare, whom the prosecution now calls back to the stand. Oh, here it comes. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's request. Mr. Shamspeare. Yes. It sounds like we're going to have another confrontation with our theatrical friend. Bailiff, show Mr. Shamspeare to the stand. Here he comes. Mr. William Shamspeare, the victim of this despicable crime. Oh heaven, oh hell, do you command me to remember? Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a belly full of the foul fluid given in mine innocence. Yes, but as was revealed in yesterday's proceedings, the witness is not as innocent as we had perhaps first been led to believe. By using bars of soap such as this, he has been stealing gas from the supply company, yes. One may smile and be a villain. Forsooth, 'twas I, Shamspeare, did have a room full of the sweet fuel given. That's right. Well, Jorah, don't forget, this man is a rotten thief.
I haven't forgotten. Kept all that about the ice coin's tiny secret, didn't you? You should have owned up sooner.
Arrest him, I say. Arrest him at once, and let him feel the sting in my tail. Oh, indeed, by dint of vile and cowardly means have I plotted to further mine own ends. I confess. Thou wouldst not pardon my sins, of that I am sure. You acknowledge your wrongdoing. What exactly are you doing here? Cowards die many times before their deaths, and for a coward such as I, death be well deserved. But would it that a still greater crime passeth unpunished? For lo, the hairy-faced gentleman of farther eastern than Verona did contrive to poison me.
Objection!
But there was no poison in the tea found in your room. The police have attested to that. What the defense would assert as an inconsistency will quickly be cleared up by the witness's testimony. Is that not so, Mr. Shamspear? Verily, my liege, I would most gladly speak. Very well, let the witness testify to explain this inconsistency. Tell the court why it is that poison apparently entered your body, though none was found in the tea. It probably did during the fucking Romeo and Juliet fight. That's probably what it was. I suppose, yeah. I read an article about how much they worked on making sure it wasn't changed too much, but with translation difficulties, they had to outwardly highlight that it is indeed Japan and England. Makes sense, yeah. The Japanese man did come to my chamber with tea brewed in a pot. 'Twas in my cup alone that the wicked miscreant secretly poured his wicked poison. Okay, so he's claiming it's independent from the tea. Whilst feigning distraction in our debate, ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips. When he departed by and by, I did use the tea that remained in his cup to make my coins of ice. Well, we know that there's like a tea ring that was inside his cup, not Tosuke's. Thus, 'tis no surprise that poison be not found in the tea I did pour into the molds of soap. Nipponese is an old word that means Japanese, but was later used as a slur in the wartime because they used nip as an insult for their eyes, which fucking hell, why is even a thing? Oh. It's interesting because like Nippon is actually what the Japanese call Japan, but of course they found a fucking way to make it a slur. So it's actually an actual age-old slur then. Ooh. I'm not saying was in the game using it, I'm saying that it was even a thing. The poison was slipped into the cup after the tea had been poured. The normal way for poison to be administered, in my experience. Quite. Otherwise, it would be disastrous if the poisoner were to mix up the cups, for instance. But no poison bottle was found at the scene. Because, quite simply, the Nipponese took the bottle back to his own room. The absence of a vessel containing the poison only becomes problematic when considering suicide. Ah, I knew that. By now, it should be perfectly clear. A bar or two of cheap soap is wholly insufficient to wash the deep stains of guilt from the accused's hands. Ah! Sirs, madams, 'tis true that I, Shamspear, be a common thief of gas. But, listen here, ladies and gentlemen. Wherefore would I lie? Verily, I have no cause. I have naught to lose. Well, I do declare.
Thank you for your testimony, witness. Counsel, proceed with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. Whose mouth? Shamspear's. I'm unsure whether Zeke's is using it as a slur or not, but it wouldn't surprise me. Also, learned friend would be a sarcasm to describe a fellow attorney. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh no, I think Zeke's is absolutely being racist. He has a thing against Japanese people. I did not know that about the learned friend. That's interesting. The tea inconsistency. Okay, so we have the cups, right? Ne'er did a drop of his own drink pass his lips, but we have the empty cup, right? There is no tea ring on the inside of Mr. Natsume's cup, which means that he did drink it.
Objection!
Fuck you. Again, that Mr. Natsume didn't drink a drop of tea on the night in question. Inconsistent tea. But that's impossible. How chop logic? What is this, ye darkly clad fiend? The 2 teacups from the scene, one used by the victim, and the other by the defendant. Have a clear difference between them. One that represents incontrovertible proof. Incontrovertible? What difference? Look at the inside of the cups. Just here, there's a clearly visible ring. Yes, a tea ring. Commonplace enough. The one thing I really do like about Van Zieks, apart from the racism, he's actually a very fair prosecutor. Like, if you bring up evidence, he'll be like, okay, that's fair enough. And he will accept it. Which is one thing I've really liked about his character so far. Like, I think it's in the end of the first game, like, some stuff got brought up and Van Zieks was like, that's true. And the defendant was like, hey, you're supposed to be, like, helping me. And Van Zieks is like, but it's wrong, though. Indeed. Such stains occur all too readily when one leaves tea in the cup for a while. And yet, Mr. Natsume's cup has no such ring. Good lord, you're right. It's completely clean. And prithee, sir, what makest thou of it? Exactly what Mr. Natsume told the court yesterday. The Japanese saying he quoted. Drink the tea. What is what? That's right. Yes. The jittery Mr. Natsume was true to his usual self that night and drank his tea in no time. Huh. If, as you claim in your testimony, he didn't touch a drop of his tea, a ring would have developed on the inside of his cup as well after the several hours the tea was left standing. But, in short, Mr. Shamsphere, you clearly lied to the court. Get thee to a nunnery!
Objection!
Oh. As a rule, I fill my hallowed chalice up to 7 times during any one trial. You might want to keep that information to yourself. Yet on occasion, tedium distracts me and I pour more times than I intended until the bottle is dry. Your drinking habits are fascinating but irrelevant. On the contrary, they illustrate the fickleness of human memory. To William Shamsphere. Yes, my liege. Though you previously stated that you made the coins of ice from the leftover tea in the accused cup, could it be that you were perhaps mistaken? Huh? Could it be that, yes, perhaps there was some tea remaining in the small teapot left at the scene? A fact that had vanished from your memory until now. Faith, my liege, thou art a magician. For verily, tis as though thou hast seen with thine own eyes that night. What? Forsooth, I was mistook. I did plan to use tea from the Japanese fellow's cup, but lo, when I looked, 'twas empty. And thus did I use the dregs that festered in the teapot, as my liege did suggest. And you've just suddenly remembered now that you made a mistake before? Are we supposed to believe that?
Objection!
People's memories are imperfect, my learned friend. I understood that reference. Which is why we rely on evidence instead. But in any case, it makes no difference. The victim's most recent testimony tells us 2 things of note. Firstly, that the poison was put into the victim's teacup only. And secondly, that this spoiled cup was not the source of the insipid ice coin that bewitched the court. The prosecution makes a fine summary of the facts. Furthermore, that testimony remains valid and in full support of the established facts. In other words... Bye-bye, Cape. The inconsistency claimed by the defense simply does not exist. No! What does this mean, then? Did you declare it means there's no issue with the gas thief's testimony?
Apart from the bit about the leaving gas, obviously.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I do solemnly swear, after I did dine at Grubb's Grubbery alehouse that night, naught did pass my lips, but the black tea given me by the Japanese, whose back be stooped as low as death. And on what did you dine, sir? Why, I did partake of my favourites. A broth as would be called soup, and a leaf as would be called salad. An insalubrious menu as the establishment where it was served. But you gods will give us some faults to make us men. Willingly would I suffer what punishment 'tis seen fit to serve a wicked thief of gas. But, I pray ye wise and noble fellows, ne'er forget the simple truth. That be one thing, and this be another. Jurors all, your humble servant Shamspear doth entreat you, punish the Japanese fellow for his sins. Who's shouting? My lord! If I may speak, my lord. Yes, Mr. Foreman. I believe we may have been duped by that rotten defense lawyer. And me? I do declare you may be right. We all know the wife there is making coins of ice to keep himself warm.
But this lawyer's lad says if he's stealing gas, he deserves a dose of poison, eh? He's been leading us up the garden path, that's what we've been doing.
I really never said anything like that. But what we just heard from the victim there has opened our eyes again. We've reached a decision this time, and we won't be swayed from it. The court acknowledges the position of the jury foreman, and will duly hear the juror's findings. But what? No, you can't yet. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your decisions now.
Guilty!
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Just means we have to do the jury thing again. Fine. They're always so fickle, huh? They get turned. They know it's making any noise, I can't hear. I hereby declare the jury to be in one accord. Oh, happy day. Oh, happy day. Why is this happening? My lord, the defense asserts its right to carry out a summation examination. Very well. The court upholds the defense's right. Typical. My learned friend is unable to accept the obvious truth. This trial will therefore enter its second summation examination immediately. Jurors, the court calls upon each of you to state the grounds upon which you find the defendant guilty of the crime of which he is charged. Time to start pitting them against each other. Judicial findings. The jurors' contentions. I'm a man of logic, Mayor, and having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty. I do agree that gas is far too expensive. I can quite understand why the man would want to avoid paying. That doesn't mean anything. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal, gas is. Gas doesn't come for free. It costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Truth be told, the tea my wife serves up for me is a little sketchy at times.
Alright. If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? That didn't help. I do feel that perhaps personal opinion about gas and its supply has influenced decisions somewhat. You think? But never mind. No, you really should mind. The truth is, our counter-argument wasn't as unassailable as we hoped. Mr. Shamspear was poisoned. There can be no doubt of that. Then, how are we supposed to turn this around? I'm still betting he fucking is poisoned himself. That's my current working theory. I guess part of the play. I think we need to establish the method by which Mr. Shamspear was actually poisoned. We'll see how quick it takes the game to completely rip that theory apart. Our only hope is to demonstrate that to the court, incontrovertibly. But that's surely almost impossible at this stage. He did do the Romeo and Juliet, and there was poison involved in that, so... If we don't manage it though, Mr. Natsume will be found guilty. No delays, counsel. Proceed with the summation examination. Alright, let's go. Fucking Shamspear in the back, okay. We're gonna press everyone, get any information out of them. Having considered all the evidence, the defendant must logically be guilty, right?
Hold it!
What do you mean? All the evidence, you say? That's right, and there's no room for doubt. It's all pointed at that Japanese man with the big mustache. This makes me think someone's going to react to what he says. Says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. Which means we need to go show the man some new evidence to make him change his mind. When we had that kind of evidence. Don't worry. This summation examination has barely started, really. Perhaps there'll be a shift in the situation that shows an exciting piece of evidence in new light. Let's hope so. To start with, though, we need to find some way out of this deadlock. So he didn't change anything. She says, I agree gas is far too expensive, but I can quite understand why he would want to avoid paying.
Hold it!
Press everyone. This isn't the time or the place to be discussing the price of gas, madam. But really, think of the injustice. Air is a gas and air is free. Why should Altamont gas cost money? It makes my blood boil. I can feel myself becoming more ruthless than ever. This isn't the time or the place to be ruthless either. If I might interject here. Yes, madam? It seems my fellow juror takes issue with the price our company charges for gas. But it's precisely because of thieves like this man that the cost goes up. Oh, what a beastly man. That unkempt mustache, those hunched shoulders, poisoning tea and stealing gas. Utterly unforgivable. No. Mr. Natsume isn't the one who's been stealing gas. I thank you not to go adding on more crimes. Mr. Natsume hasn't been poisoning tea either. Well, anyway, I've quite made up my mind. It's made up as the price of gas. The stuff explodes and it can poison you. It's absolutely lethal gases. Gas again.
Hold it!
Could we please talk about the poison rather than the gas, do you think, sir? Well, if you like. I mean, to be honest, I'd take poison over gas every time. You take poison? What I mean is, poison can only poison you. It doesn't explode, does it? Goodness me. What are you talking about? Set him straight, please, lawyer man. Well, it's certainly true that poison isn't prone to exploding. But I think you'll find poison also can't light or heat up a room. Ah! It's fucking so top. Yeah, it's fucking this cost 11 shite, I don't know. Fucking, what do you call her? Liz Truss is gonna walk out on the fucking jury stand or something. That and the Queen. The Queen's just always mentioned when the judge talks. You're right, I hadn't considered that at all. Young lawyer man. Yes? You have a good head on your shoulders. We could use someone like you as our company's legal representative. Well, I wasn't expecting to pick up more business in the middle of a trial, that's for sure. Anyway, the point is, I haven't had the best experience with gas companies in the past. Again, nothing. Gas doesn't come for free, it costs a fortune to deliver it around the city and maintain the pipes.
Hold it!
Can we please refrain from all this talk of gas? There's an oil attack underway here in case you hadn't noticed against my company's gas. I'm supposed to sit here and take it, am I? I don't think so. Corpa. Really buzzing now. Good on Reno's game. All I've heard about are wonderful fuels, explosions, and poisonings. What about electricity, What about getting electrocuted? What about that? A little explosion here and there is nothing in comparison. Any explosion could hardly be described as nothing, madam. Nevertheless, the theft of your gas is deplorable. My point exactly, but the gas thieves aren't even the worst of our enemies. We have far more devious reprobates to contend with on a daily basis, you know. Or devious who, madam? Other gas companies, of course. Other gas companies? Not quite what I was expecting. We generate gas and we deliver it to our customers fair and square. Indeed, nobody is questioning that, madam. Altamont is an exemplary gas company. But there are other unscrupulous gas companies here in London that don't even have any gas at all. What? But if they don't have any gas, how do they go about selling it to people? You wouldn't think it possible, would you? But they steal our gas, you see, and sell that. They steal your gas? How on earth is such a thing possible? Gas companies like ours deliver gas to people's homes via a network of pipes. But these devious reprobates secretly disconnect our pipes and divert our gas into their own rotten pipes. Then they make a contract with the household supplied by those pipes, and take money for the precious gas that's rightfully ours, without us even knowing. They're diverting gas into their own pipes illegally? What a brazen form of theft. When we visit our customers' houses to collect the money from their meters, we always have to check whether or not one of these devious companies has been up to its tricks. Why do you respond to that? Do you have something to say about that, juror number 3? Oh, golly, you mean me? I'm terribly sorry. I was just thinking to myself. I really did catch him off guard there. Thinking about what the lady next to you was saying, correct? About the gas companies stealing from Altamont, maybe? Well, yes. I just got a little riled up about it recently, you see. Go on. An Altamont gas worker visited my house the other day to investigate the pipework. We need to ask for your cooperation while we carry out a secret check of your property, sir, the fellow said. So I let him in. Do you know what he did? I'm, afraid I have no idea. Please, tell us. He proceeded to take one of my lights off the wall. Then he grabbed the exposed mouth of the pipe and started blowing into it. What do you think you're doing, young man? You're giving away company secrets there. Oh, please, everybody knows. It was very nice, very near to the death of me, I can tell you. What do you mean? I'll explain if you don't mind. As I said before, these unscrupulous other gas companies connect their customers to our pipe network. Yes, but how does blowing into the pipes come into it? Obviously, there's gas in the pipes, and it's at a fairly low pressure. By blowing air through the pipe, you can make the pressure drop temporarily. And if you do that, any lights connected to the same pipe will flicker for a moment. Ah, I see. In other words, if upon blowing into the pipe, the lights of an adjacent property that has no contract with your company flicker, you can know that these devious scoundrels have been meddling with the pipes. Exactly, my lord. That's it in a nutshell. It's the reason why we have teams of workers going around neighbourhoods to investigate which lights flicker. The trouble is, the particular worker who came to my house didn't know the strength of his own breath. He blew down the pipe with all his might. You can guess what happened, can't you? Well, he blew hard, then... Wait, you mean... That's right. The lights didn't just flicker. They went out, along with the stove. Gas started pouring into the house. Jesus. I'm very curious what background I'm going to pick when we play Cyberpunk. What a disaster. The gas supply must have been interrupted briefly because the man blew too hard, so the flames went out. I'm afraid I yelled at the fellow. Are you trying to kill us all? I said. So by disconnecting a lamp and blowing into the exposed gas pipe, it's possible to extinguish lamps and stoves connected to the same network of pipes. And then when the gas starts flowing again, it just silently seeps into the room. Is that what happened with the person before Sosuke in that room? The guy, the Olive's boyfriend, right? Or fiance? He's the guy that the gas leaked into his room, maybe? Remember? I won't do Corpo. So we know the person who was in the room before Sosuke, the guy we're defending, that he was Olive Green's art fiance, and he gas leaked into his room and he died. So, Mr. Naruto, do I think perhaps yes, this is almost certainly the clue you've been looking for. Hoping for, sorry. Juror number 3, the defense requests that you amend your statement to include that information. Oh well, if you like. I don't mind. Well, I do. That's our company's secret method of identifying the rogues that try to diddle us. Like I said, madam, it's widely known already. Very well, juror number 3, you will amend your statement accordingly. Yes, my lord. Although I'm not really sure what the point of all this is. All this is? Blow too hard into a gas pipe and you extinguish everything in the house, and then you're in real trouble. Okay. Right. Right, what? This guy's just talking about his fucking wife's tea, but we'll ask him anyway.
Hold it!
Spiolese. You mean it's poisoned?
That's right. It's happened a tiny few times now.
That is most troubling indeed.
It always days like this one when I don't get any wages.
Okay. Can't give up too long, huh? I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devilish look on her face. And she slips some white powder into my cup. And you drink it anyway? Well, sugar. Or is she putting salt into it to fucking spite him? That's rather proper I was. If someone gives you a cup, you drink it. What happened to you? What did it taste like? I remember the first time I ever had tea was when I was round at my friend's house really early in the morning on like a Saturday. That's when I was like maybe 8. And we went around, knocked at the door, and they were having their breakfast, and we got invited in. And his mum, they're having tea and toast, and his mum gave me a cup of tea. Huh? Oh, this is like black tea, and I was like, well. But I drank it anyway. Black tea is dirt time. No, not bad. The only other time I've willingly drank black tea was when I was in Turkey. And we went on a thing that, we went on like a wee tour that eventually led to a... It's really weird now I think about it, like, it's like a Turkish family's house. And they had like tea for everyone. They were like these wee small tea glasses. Who the fuck knows what they were getting paid for that? No. And that was black tea too, but thankfully it wasn't that much. I like tea with milk and sugar. Just, I suppose one thing the people at that house did get is it was really fucking hot in Turkey, and we were going around these big like jeep things. There was like a couple of us, and every so often we would stop near a source of water, and everyone would get out and fill up water guns and fucking shoot the other jeep. And they also gave water guns to the kids at this house, so the kids were just shooting all the tourists. It was god awful, leave you me. Salty as hell. Yeah, I should have put salt on it. Yeah, okay. And I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No. So, she doesn't even care not to poison me properly, eh? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please. Alright, what does the old man say in the end? If nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there?
Hold it!
Present. Does that mean that if the victim could be shown to have ingested something else, you change your leaning? Sorry. What's that now? Oh, I was just saying, if the victim did actually eat or drink something else on the night... What's the matter with you? Sorry? I said, if nothing else passed the victim's lips that night, there's no other explanation, is there? Haven't you been listening to me at all? I feel there's an English expression about a pot and a kettle that's appropriate here. The pot calling the kettle black, right? Compared to the other jurors, you don't even appear to have anything to say about the case at all. It would seem that this elderly gentleman has been listening to the proceedings far more intently. I suppose. The trouble is... he has selective hearing? Exactly. Still, this juror may well be the key to the breakthrough that we so desperately need. Oh, this is hopeless. There's no way for me to appeal to these people. I do think that the only way we shall overcome this difficult situation is by exposing the way in which Mr. Shamtu was really poisoned. Are we saying he was poisoned by the gas, maybe? Yeah. We have to prove that it happened some other way and not via Mr. Natsume's tea. Yes, I know. The trouble is, I have absolutely no idea how it did happen. Mr. Naruhodo, I wonder perhaps there's something you might have forgotten. Oh, like what? It's important to watch everyone involved and pursue people if they react to something else someone says. Did gas leak into his room, maybe? Once again, Suzuki-san's fate is entirely in my hands here. I probably owe it to my client to hear any evidence my assistant may be able to offer. Perhaps I ought to let Susato-san remind me. Then again, no need. Actually, I don't think there's any need. It's better that we start trying to change these jurors' minds as soon as possible. Of course, I'm sure you're right. But if you decide you would like your memory refreshed, you need only ask Mr. Naruhodo. Susato top tier, huh? So he says, you extinguish everything in the house and then you're in real trouble. So can we pit that against the old man, maybe? Maybe.
Objection! Objection!
There we go. Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good gracious. To whose statements do you refer, counsel? Juror number 6. Did you hear what juror number 3 just said? Hey, what? Yes, of course. I heard him mumbling about something or other. There is another explanation here, I believe. Something besides Mr. Natsume T did, in a matter of speaking, pass the victim's lips on the night in question. What? What explanation? I wonder, did the police check the mouth of the gas pipe feeding the wall light at the scene? To see if there were any traces of poison there? I was curious to see what your floundering would result in this time. But the mouth of a gas pipe? Scotland Yard have enough to do without exploring such irrelevance. The Sasato take just flip the fucking jury, hey? All of them in turn. Man, Van Ziek's at the end, huh? What a piece of work is a man. What are you trying to say, Mr. Shamsphere? What speakest thou? Prithee, is it not strange and strange? That is what I say to thee, sir. I thought I'd been quite clear, but let me put it another way. The strychnine could have been on the mouth of the gas pipe that feeds the wall lamp in your room. And that is how the poison came to enter your body. And then like the gas is like flowing through it or something like that? Or it's going up fucking like deep throat in the gas pipe? Or what are we talking here? Good lord. Are they tasty then, gas pipes? Is that what he's saying? Or is the gentleman suggesting that the poor man was so desperately hungry he tried to fill his belly with gas? Perhaps no actress would perform a kiss with him. For shame, madam, speaking thy fancy. I assure you I'm not such a buffoon that I have to kiss pipes.
Objection!
This is no summation examination. This is a farce. The prosecution will not stand for any more of my learned Nipponese friend's conjecture. To begin with, the lamp in the victim's room is high on the wall. In order to have placed his lips to the pipe that feeds it, he would have to be a contortionist. These are empty assertions. There is no possible proof that the man did as you say. But there's all the handprints on the wall, right? He might have been standing like this.
Objection!
It's true, I have no proof that Mr. Shamsphere put his lips to the pipe. However, I can say with some certainty that on multiple occasions, actually huffing the copium, yeah. Mr. Shamsphere has been doing something in front of the lamp at his wall. Yep, there you go. His hands were there. Me and Rinosuke are synced up, and I have evidence to prove it. Alright, you've got our attention, lad. I'd like to see how you can be so sure of yourself. So would I. Let's see this evidence then. Now that I've got the jury's ear, I need to make this opportunity count. This is the proof that, time and time again, Mr. Shamsphere stood in front of his gas lamp. There it is. It wasn't the fucking picture after all, it was the lamp. Yeah.
Take that!
What the? These are... wait. What are they called? Yes, skin prints that were found at the scene. Skin prints, counsel? I've never heard of such a thing. The Justice Ministry is currently assessing whether or not to permit fingerprints as evidence in court, however. Hid the meme thing. My lord, this is an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It reveals all the places that Mr. Shamsphere touched in his room. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, that's black magic, isn't it? Well, if anyone could invent something like this, it's that great Sholmes fellow, that's for sure. I agree. This month's edition of Engineering Thumbs was quite fascinating. We find skin prints in many places that you would expect. On the table, on the costumes. However, Mr. Shamsphere also appears to have been touching some very unexpected places in his room. For example, here. Around the hanging picture there. Indeed, multiple handprints appear to be visible. There was nothing behind the picture. Well, I wonder, could he have been appreciating the artwork, perhaps? At first, my colleagues and I thought the same. However, imagine standing with your hands where those prints are, and you would find yourself directly in front of... Ah! I don't believe it. The gas lamp. Though the reason why isn't immediately obvious, it's clear that Mr. Shamspeare has regularly been standing with his hands to the wall in front of that lamp. Right. What have you been up to, you nut? I'd ask the court to recall juror number 4's earlier statements. Me? What did I say? You said that blowing into a gas pipe would make the lights in the entire building flicker. And now if you'll recall juror number 3's statement. What? Me now? When the gas worker who visited his home blew with too much force into the pipe, it caused all the lights in the gas stove to go out, and gas started leaking into the rooms. Obviously, that incident was an accident. However, the simple fact is he fucking trying to kill people? If Mr. Shamspeare were to have blown hard into the gas pipe here in his room, he could have extinguished every other light and gas stove in the building at will. Crikey! Are you suggesting that the man purposefully caused the gas to...
Objection!
I mean, that's like, if you could murder, like, everyone in the building by doing that. Whilst I acknowledge that the prosecution is required to remain silent during a summation examination, I must toast my learned friend's utter disregard for the letter of the law. What is the meaning of this, Lord Van Zinks? This curious photograph, or whatever it is, presented by the defense, the so-called skin prints, clearly that cannot be accepted as any form of usable evidence in this case. But it's an exciting new forensic technique, developed by a great detective. It's nothing. A mere toy developed by an amateur sleuth with too much time on his hands. Certainly, even research of this nature by the esteemed Mr. Sholmes cannot be recognized by the court as formal evidence. But... Please, my lord, if I may. Mr. Sato? It was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the results of the great detective's investigation of the scene, as a tool by which to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The Sato's good. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. Nope. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3. Oh yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating. And I want to hear what the shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. Two's better than nothing. But he's addicted. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait! You heard his lordship. It's not fair dinkum evidence. Get fucked. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. If just one more juror changes his or her mind, Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Mr. Sato, but I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, you identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Oh, him sweating. Why, Mr. Shamspeare, you seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Very well, continue, counsel. Can't present evidence here, so you have to shoot them against each other. A man of logic, me. Considering all the evidence, the defendant must be logically guilty. Nope. What do you press? What do you put here? There's only 3 people left, and so he just talks about like the. Logically, it's him. She says, I'm interested in the results of the investigation. He says it's, the jury's important. She says gas is expensive. He talks about his wife's tea. So what the fuck? Can we pit once you're already done talking? No, you can't. You have to pit once you haven't talked yet. That's saying like which of these three even relate to each other? There's only 3 people we can interact with. This guy talks about logic, facts and logic kind. She talks about gas prices. And he talks about his wife's tea. Maybe we'll try 1 and 4.
Objection.
Fuck. It's involving the tea? What? Petty foggery? The tea one is so weird that it has to be relevant. But like, but what? Is he only put him against these two? I mean, your guy Foreman and the bee lady, them against each other was the only one that really made sense to me, so I don't know who to put this guy against. Maybe these two, so it'll get number 1 to change his mind about the tea.
Objection.
Also wrong. God damn it, man. There's only 2 left. I don't understand why those 2 though. I mean, do that. No. The only 2 people we can pit against each other right now are the bee lady and the guy with the fucking tea. Just in case. But how the fuck does that even make sense?
Objection.
It didn't work either. I pressed all 3 of them though. I pressed all 3 of them and none of them changed what they said. They're all saying the same things. Unless they say new things now, but I don't think they will.
Hold it.
Maybe he'll say something new now. Same thing again. They're not changing what they say. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Okay. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the event on the night in question. What do you make of that? What, your so-called skin prints? It's an exciting new forensic technique developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And now Mr. Shalenspear has indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe on the night in question. It can't be denied there's a possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes. I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to the unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides... Yes? Even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait. Look, you've got your chance here, haven't you? The time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, if we can't substantiate our position, I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Shams here really did blow down the gas pipe on the night in question? On the night in question? Can we prove it? Didn't Mr. Garadeb say that the lights flickered? A supporting testimony, maybe? Oh yeah, or Suzuki as well, yeah, sure. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it's all connected. Everything is linked. A person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the Garadeb residence that night. Namely... Yes, Suzuki's here too. It's one of the two. Oh, whose testimony revealed details. Does that mean, like, actual testimony or just with them talking? We'll go Suzuki for now, because Garadeb hasn't spoken yet. It's them using the word testimony, which makes me think they mean official court testimony and not just like speaking. I'm gonna go Suzuki.
Take that!
Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Suzuki Natsume himself. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. My lodgings! There's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on that fateful night it happened. When I returned from Mr. Shamspeare's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed. Before long, the stove went out, and somebody tried to kill me. That's right, we did. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly! So that Shamspeare fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose? Now hold your horses there. What do you hope to do that for? He's fucking quigging. Mr. Foreman. What the? What is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree, there's more to this case than meets the eye. Ha! Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic first and foremost. Nice. As 4 jurors lean towards not guilty, my lord, we've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. Let's go. As the defense has rightly indicated, the summation examination has concluded with the majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now call guilty. 4 now call not guilty. Therefore, The jury's opinion is conflicted and, in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. I go. Mr. William Shamspeare. My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God mend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? The bottles oh. I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5.
Me?
As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-professed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. Ah! As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hands against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You would all do well to remember that.
Objection!
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Just order the mouth of the gas pipe feeding that lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room to be examined. If there are traces of poison there,
Objection!
what appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes? Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to have been spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. Ah! I didn't think of that. In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you describe. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipework where he lived? There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is to use the leaking gas to commit murder. Yep, it's fucking after them, huh? Order, order! Counsel, precisely whose life do you propose this man was plotting to end? The answer couldn't be simpler. Now you've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamspeare wanted to end the life of... Was it Soseki?
Take that!
Jesus. If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around these parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Gardeb, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end. Outrageous! I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. He really didn't like the way that argument went, though. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. He's the victim this man was trying to murder. Good gracious!
Objection!
The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. See, he likes the stuff. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question then that arises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill. Yes, that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? It was like one of the gas companies or something, maybe? So now I must ask, how could anyone have known of Mr. Shamspeare's murderous designs? Ah, you mean to suggest... Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question could be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison on the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack, or I can't talk again, can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Ah! Whatever Mr. William Shamspeare may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Ugh. Hard work. Just me tripping over myself again. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? I'm gonna get pinged in Discord. Mr. Naruhodo, we must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. This may be our last chance to gain the advantage. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So we must name that person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed once and for all. Is it something to do with the gas company, maybe? As it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison, it's all pointing to a particular person now. Is it? The prosecution calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. What? Oh, don't you worry, we know exactly what... There is one other person, who I believe could have been involved in all this. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit? A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend, what is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? I'm leaning towards... one of these two? Was it Mr. Meterman? Hi. He was there. Wonder if it was fucking Wario himself.
Take that!
Fuck. Shit. Aboard! 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 It just seems like someone involved with the gas. I don't think it's Garadeb. Is it Olive? Or was it Duncan Ross, maybe? He was the previous tenant of Sosuke's room. But if Duncan were to put it there, it means Shamspeare would have had to have not touched it since then, I guess. Why else is Duncan Ross a physical character we can interact with here? Why would he have got? How would he have gotten into his room? As well. Did Shamspear put there himself, maybe? Is it just Shamspear?
Take that!
Fuck. Right, we're gonna have a I'm gonna have a sit and look. I don't think it was Garadeb. I don't think he would have any reason to do it. He wants the money. Maybe she didn't personally do it though. Maybe the company put it on the pipes to stop people stealing. But they wouldn't do that because they need the pipes visible so they can test if it's being stolen from, right? So it would be counterintuitive to poison your employees. Accuse Van Zieksen. You're the right passive part of it. Well, he was killed. When did Shamspear get his room? Was he in his room when Duncan died? Did he kill Duncan? They're also doing True Culprit like this. Is it? Who would have gotten access to his room? Sauce of Olive, huh? Yeah. Whoever it was that got access to his room. Is it Queen Bee? I'm just realizing her name is Queen Bee. Duncan is a bit sus here, yeah. Where did the Strychnine even come from? Like, is it?
Take that!
Shit! I didn't mean to press that. I meant to open my fucking evidence thing. I don't even see who I picked there. I don't. Oh, did I pick Meter Man again? I generally didn't. I don't know who I picked there. I didn't see. I can't even look at the. I can't look at my stuff now. It's not Garadeb, is it? The tree culprit is Altamont Gas. So.
Take that!
No. There's such. I love her fish. Great love her fish and chips. Garadeb, you're looking mighty suspicious here, my friend. It's not Shamsphere, no. Pokemon B, by the way. We're all deep in thought. Is it Gardeb?
Take that!
Not Gardeb either. Who would have gotten access to his fucking lodgings? Depending on how long Shamsphere has been in his apartment, he may have killed Duncan Ross. He died a month ago. I can't remember how long Shamsphere has been in his place. Who the fuck would get point? What the fuck is... What actually is strychnine? How do you get it? Is it like in plants or something? It's a highly toxic, colorless, bitter crystalline alkaloid used as a pesticide, particularly for killing small vertebrates such as birds and rodents. Right? When inhaled, swallowed or absorbed through the eyes or mouth, causes poisoning which results in muscular convulsions and eventually death through asphyxia. While it is no longer used medically, it was used historically in small doses to strengthen muscle contractions, such as a heart and bile stimulant and performance enhancing drug. Most common sources from the seeds of the Strychnos nux vomica tree. Olive did have some poison, didn't she? But when would she have got into the fucking apartment? Maybe Olive... My thinking for Olive is I think Olive assumes... Maybe assumes that he killed Duncan. But she was in hospital. Yeah, we tried her, yeah. Duncan being here is so, like, I feel like that's important. I just don't know how, like, We saw Olive earlier with, specifically with poison that killed a rodent. I just don't know how she would have got into the room to put it on the pipe. A wizard? Why did Olive say she was going to that location? She said she was going to meet someone, didn't she? I just remembered something. Doesn't Olive have an envelope? And we found a piece of the envelope in Shamspear's room. Remember the letter with the ripped envelope? And the corner of the envelope was in the room? Olive, for fuck's sake! Oh god, it's her.
Take that!
It's not her! It's not Olive! Oh wait, oh. It's Olive Green, here we go. Oh, Olive. Here. If you think your fiance was killed, a bit more justifiable. Not justifiable, but understandable. Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green. I do feel as though I've heard that name in a recent past, Council, but I don't recall where. Wasn't that letter as well? That letter was specifically from your guy, the Duncan, right? And as well, under Shamspear's floorboards was a fucking picture of Gardev and fucking Duncan. Ah! Shamspear, you fucker, huh? This Olive Green, the one from 6 days ago. The victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road. Where's this picture, right? This one. That was in Shamspear's room. An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for some 3 days, I believe, but I heard she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Shamspear's poisoning took place 3 days ago. Olive! How the fuck did she get in? But something has happened. How did she get in the first place? If the time doesn't line up, how the fuck did she get into the room? Did she bribe someone, maybe? Is that what she did? There's something about that letter that has, like, a piece of her letter, her envelope has ended up in his room. Given that the woman was lying comatose in a hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True. All night the incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious. So on the face of it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible, but still. My colleagues and I visited Mr. Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison? There's another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The envelope, right? Oh. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Shamspear. My lord, pray, what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? No, never heard of her. You would revenge me too, eh? You would revenge me? I think perhaps Eugenia doesn't know her, at least not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nipponese friends far through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Let's go get Olive. Very well, I grant the request. Excellent. I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say. But at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remain the sole subject of the court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned. Damn it, Olive, but also... I kind of understand, like... She was so nice. I assume she just thinks her fiance was poisoned, which... It's fucking terrible, like. Not... What would I do? I don't know. Huh? Missed a bunch of messes earlier, what I was saying. Why is someone trying to spoil, huh? Hey, huh? I'm spoiling my chat, huh? Get out. (23rd of February, 11:32 a.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks! Oh, Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire, non-locum judicial assistant, Miss Mikotaba Esquiress. Oh, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent. Oh, there he is. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Ah, Herlock Sholmes. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. But the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Were they messages? I thought it might be Olive, but then I couldn't say because I knew for sure knew. Because they're messages, maybe I know for sure. Well, they're gone now, hey. In the fucking bin, hey. Go on. Get out. Please, save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says, and it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep suggested me last night, I thought, tomorrow for once I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early and be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all on its own, does it not? Oh yes. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute insight into the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization I attempted an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink all night. And the results? By first light, I was exhausted and began to be assailed by fits of drowsiness. Shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Saying anything. I've been getting better sleep recently. I haven't getting my 6 hours, so don't come after me, yeah. I think most of us probably knew that already. But others presuppose I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellow, is the scientific method. Ah yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this? Ah. Yes, of course, it's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you did manage to. It was a laborious task as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences do not hinder Sholmes. I managed to confirm that it contained strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps, though of course such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I shall leave the bottle in your care now, but licking the inside of the neck is not recommended. Bottle of poison. Bottle found in the possession of Miss Green with traces of the slow-acting poison strychnine inside. It's not looking good. Ah, can I have a word? Oh, Gregson. Gregson, how good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Okay. Wait a minute, Inspector. Let's go to fish and chips. Don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. And the look on your face, I say something else. Someone else who you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shamspeare's room? Not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Oh, the... Starts to be an S, right? Selden. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shamspeare's room? A man by the name of... Ah, yes, Selden. I went through the archives of the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that... Well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector, what? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourselves. Thank you. Capital Offenders File. Scotland Yard's file about the convicted criminal Selden that includes a newspaper article about him dying of illness in prison. These documents. Let's have a read. Investigative findings related to Selden. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder. Died of natural causes while in prison. His final moments witnessed only by his cellmate. The estimated £1,000 worth of loot he stole remains unrecovered. Manchester's Strangeways prison announced the death of convicted murderer and burglar Selden by natural causes in the early hours this morning. He had been suffering with fever since the end of October. Alerted by the shouts of his fellow cellmates, medical staff arrived to find him already dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shamspeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court records so we don't duplicate information. Oh, it's all being compiled into one. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? I'm just making sure things get handled in the proper fashion. Oh, Scotland Yard's workings are so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the Inspector here is a shining diamond in its crown. A shining diamond in the rough, maybe. Funny, in the very start of a study in Scarlet, he calls, Gregson and Lestrade like the good ones in the force. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer. That's all. I think our Lestrade in this game is Gina, right? Gina Lestrade. Even though she's not a cop, she has a surname at least. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I should leave you then. I'll be listening with interest from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all, certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Mustache in floods of tears personally, so the best of luck to you. Welcome, student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Miss Olive Green and Mr. William Shamspeare. This is going to be the final battle. Let's go. I won't really have saved Suzuki-san until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Rinosuke. You have to. Let's go. Back in we go. 23rd February, 12:30 PM. The Old Bailey courtroom. I've been keeping an eye on, I think Scorn is coming out very, very soon. That H.R. Giger styled horror game. I think if it ends up being good, we'll probably play it after A Plague Tale, because that's probably the one that's going to end first. I get it for free on PC Game Pass as well, so it's really, really good. So I hope it's good, because stylistically it looks fucking awesome. So here's hoping. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is a true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the honourable British prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zieks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand? Ready and waiting in the witness antechamber, my lord. Very well. Bailiff, bring the witnesses in. Here comes Olive. Here she is. Oh, she's painting. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court, please. William Shamspeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim, to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed, in other words. Oh. What a coterie. Mr. Shamspeare. My lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green. Yes? You are aware of the reason you've been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Yes. The officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And? Do you accept the charge, Miss Green? I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady. Die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage. Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. It's all very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely even ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by that neighbourhood 6 days ago, that's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in hospital, fighting for my life. Yes, having been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street outside the Garda household. Dong. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife through no fault of my own, and now I am under suspicion? What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing. Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. But there's the envelope, the Ryunosuke, the envelope. That's why. We would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no. The incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful accident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell the court what happened that day. And of course, we will be interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Shamspeare. Eh, but what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned. Get fucked. Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road the evening of the 17th of February. Witness testimony. The evening of 17th of February. It was 6 days ago at about 5 p.m. I was walking along in the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it just happened to be outside the house where the men in the case have their lodgings. That's where Duncan lived. I was at the tavern on the eve of which thou speakst, for I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I've been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. I'm not too sure about that one. Anyway, I was admitted straight to hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business. Yes, our second incident inside a week at what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume this is a most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Shamspeare. 'Twas the following morn, when I did awaken, that I learned of the dire events. Marry, what a commotion did the officers of the law make on the floor above mine. And Sosuke-sama was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. I feel certain of it. And this is my one and only chance to expose it. She's been there for Duncan. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. I don't know what we're going to present, though, to her statement. Like, do we have anything of Duncan? Probably the picture of Garadeb, right? The picture of Garadeb and Duncan. To show that she was in the area before. Walking along the snow and I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Yep. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in these case had their lodgings. Yep. I was at the tavern on the eve, where he didn't have I received my supper. It was the first time I've been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. That's bullshit. We know that's bullshit. I meant to present, not press. What little matter, Miss Green? Please elaborate. It was nothing, really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Ah. It was related to the card you were holding. There was like, come to this location or something, wasn't it? What did the card say? Miss Green. What was that? She clearly just hid something behind her back. What did the card tell her to do? From memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. But what does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Oh.
Excuse me.
Uh-oh. Mr. Shamspeare, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be? That is the question. Ah, pray forgive me. The great bard's words springeth from within me with ne'er a thought. Don't tell me. It's because you're possessed by Shakespeare's spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's words a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Well, nay, sire. It was nothing at all. Yeah, is he going to be proved of murdering Duncan within this trial? Yeah. Presumably you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you're both lodgers in the same house. I would it were so, but sadly nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellows be rarely known to me. So you haven't heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours? And yet a picture of him under your floorboards?
Miss Green.
Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong? The card that was mentioned before, containing the note. Do you have it upon your person? With the torn envelope. I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really. Is that how she opened the envelope? Who the fuck opens envelopes like that? Fuck the thing on the ground, then pull the note out? Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. A note in an envelope that seems to have been ripped open rather roughly. Aye. The other pieces in your dog does. Not me, oh god. It contains instructions to meet with someone who claims the information about Duncan Ross. So the other part of this envelope is on the floor of Shamspeare's room. So is that where it was opened? Was she in his room, got that letter, opened it there, forgot to pick up the piece, and that's when she planted the poison? Is that what happened? That's what links Mr. Shamspeare and Miss Green. It's Duncan Ross. Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green. Here. We got another piece of evidence, so... Let me examine the thing here. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? Miss Green strikes me as the type to open correspondence more neatly than that. So did Shamspeare open it? Was it sent to him? Ah. What is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact same shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean... What do you think of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruhodo? Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. Ah, there we are. They go together perfectly. This torn off end of the envelope clearly belongs with this card. That's all mixed together now. The envelope fits perfectly with the torn off piece found at the scene of the crime. It fits perfectly with an envelope in Miss Green's possession. Damn.
Objection!
Shit. Maybe to present the letter itself, I guess? But the piece was at the crime scene? Damn. Maybe we should press more stuff and get more notes. Okay, she was saying about, we're talking about when she gets stabbed. See what she says. I'm well acquainted with the case. I'm sorry I had to go through that. It was awful. I still can't believe I was unconscious for so long. And I woke up to find that the case had been solved and the culprit arrested. Yes, the incident had been resolved already. Perhaps it would help you to consider it a bad dream that ended with your awakening, and should now be forgotten. Yes, I suppose so. Thank you. But before you put it completely behind you, Miss Green, I need you to remember the details one last time. You must tell the court exactly what happened that day, for us to arrive at the truth about this new case. The trouble is, there's nothing to tell, really. I was just walking along the pavement. Okay, nothing from there. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where the men in this case have their lodgings. Okay.
Hold it!
More deets, more deets. What were we doing there that day, though? What do you mean? The art school you attend? What's it called? Ah, yes. It's the Thorndyke Academy of Fine Arts. According to Mr. Sholmes, that's just in the vicinity of Brixton Road, which is some 10 stops away from the scene on the Underground. I believe you mentioned before that you also live on Brixton Road, isn't that right? So why then would you have been walking along Briar Road in the middle of the East End? Well, it's because, oh yes, of course. I thought I might make a nice picture. Lights. The witness is a student of art. City-dwelling artists can't all paint grand urban vistas. That's right. I happen to like the crumbling look of that part of town. Perhaps quaint would have been a less grating term. The point is, she's definitely hiding something. Yes, it seems she's not going to be forthcoming with the truth. She's trying to hide why she was there that evening. It must mean there's a reason for her not wanting us to know. That's the key to this. And you, Mr. Shamspeare, on the evening of the incident 6 days ago, would you tell the court what exactly you were doing? 'Twould be my pleasure, sire. And he talks about his, being like getting food, right?
Hold it!
Let's get some deets to make sure he was completely out of there. Tavern, you say? Which one? 'Twas the Slug and Salad where I did tarry. 'Tis a jewel in the East End. And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Van Zieks? The Slug and Salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment you'd expect to be patronised by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water, in different levels of cloudiness. Ugh. I would have expected Grub's Grubbery in the local vicinity. Bleh. Vicinity is not a word coming to me today, hey? Vicinity. Appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas. Or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. I just wanted to try some water in some different pub for some once. What's happening? Am I speaking today, huh? I've been speaking too much. My language facility is going like blah out my head. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. What's wrong with that? How different can water really be? Listen to tea. Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Oh, the letter, right? The letter said meet me at the Slug and pub, didn't it? What? Is that what this? Slug and something? Agreed. The fact that on that day of all days he dined at a place he wouldn't normally. It does stand out. No, I don't think we can. The card is just like just an item. You can't actually read it. I'm pretty sure though it said like, you know, meet me at the. Like, I think the letter said I have information about the death of Duncan Ross. Meet me here at this pub. That got sent to him. He's the one who hastily opened it because he's like, fuck. What if someone knows? He left it there with the envelope, but he tore it and dropped it on his floor. Olive was in his room, and Olive found the letter and took it. That's what I assume has happened, right? But she didn't take the little piece that was on the floor. So Mr. Shamspeare's own actions on the day of the incident 6 days ago were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. The letter. Mr. Shamsphere. Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speakst. Very well, I will present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day, namely, the card.
Take that!
I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord. Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 PM on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shamspeare, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Ah. Personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shamspeare? Well... Excuse me. Can I say something? Yes, Miss Green? That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? I'm sorry, Olive. Well, you think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I? Will you what, Miss Green? I'd like to make something very clear about that card. Olive's just digging her grave. Very well, then you may amend your testimony to include details about the particular note. Now Olive's going to say something that we can attack. It's usually what happens when they give new information. It's like something you can go after. This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man next to me here.
Objection!
Sorry, Olive. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. And upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. Oh, fucking hit her with a boom! Boom, boom. She knows it was him and her, but she wouldn't want them to know that she had a motive. I guess so, yeah. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? Is it, sir? And it so happens that it fits perfectly together with the envelope of the note you received. But where did you find that? In Mr. Shamspeare's room. In my room? Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well, your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 PM on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspear. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. What'd I do? As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspear's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There's only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspear's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke... I mean, thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? She thinks she killed her fiancé, you dickhead. It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Miss Green. Yes? Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you've endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind. Yes, I know. Very well then, witnesses. You will give formal testimony again now. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. Shield Bahad. It's kind of sad, isn't it? Yeah. Shamspear all blocked off. The anomaly of the note. I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, per adventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening, I shared the company of the Japanese fellow. I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn up piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it. You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspear? Faith, 'tis so, my lord, and I would swear to have set it upon the table in my humble lodgings. Yet 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it. Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was... a lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think I'm the one lying. I beg your pardon? I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is. She wants him to admit what he did, doesn't she? If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shamspear's room. I don't see why I should explain. Sorry? I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is just to say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer. The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Well, counsel. I'm ready, my lord. Very well, then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses. Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamspear's room. There can be no question of that. That's how she acquired the note. Yes. Two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all this. And it's not a pretty one. Yeah. Have you ever seen the video? I think it's from Pokemon Sword and Shield. So in Sword and Shield, when you're out in the field, you can set up like a little camp with your team, and they all kind of like go about you. And there's a video where someone has a Kyogre out, and the Kyogre is like facing the camera, and it like looks at the camera for a few seconds and then goes. It does a wee smile. That video popped up on my Twitter again today, and it fucking cracked me up. See if I can find it. I think it's like smiling Kyogre. I want to see it here. Let's see.
You so fucking.
Is it there? Where is it? Got music playing, but it's mainly the video you need.
You so fucking precious when you smile.
Okay, right. Then you press the fuck out of everyone here. Right, so he's saying the note was delivered to him. Right, let's... We're pressing everything, we need all the information. Just look up Smiling Kyogre meme, and you'll get it. And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own, verily, 'tis impenetrable. Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbour, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack, if the choice be twixt I knew him and I knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some small measure acquainted. But your claims, though you followed the note's instructions and went to the slug and salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Marry, not will have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not satiated. Okay. There you go. Nope. So the second thing he says is... On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the slug and salad, yet nobody came. Okay. So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire. 'Tis as thou say'st. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall. Really? Do you mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all? I was not alone that night at the slug and salad, my lord, no. 'Tis returned to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies. Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me? I think they were just flies. I can't help thinking that the flies have to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me? Wow. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. Okay. When exactly did you notice it was gone missing? Such idle thoughts never occupied my mind. I am busy with greater ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval. Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busy with greater ideas. I had another thought, but I don't know if the dates work out. Did Olive write the letter, send it to him, he leaves, and she breaks into his apartment? But isn't that when she got stabbed? So would that work out? Did Olive get stabbed leaving his apartment? Is that why the envelope is an olive green? I don't know why she'd be looking at it so, like, fervently, though, in the hospital. That's what confuses me, though. That's the only, like, fly in my ointment, you know? It's just an idea. That would explain why no one showed up, though, right? Because no one was going to show up. If Olive wrote it, she knew he would probably freak out, leave, and then she's like, right, I'm fucking busting into this apartment. And yet during that time, Miss Green was comatose in hospital, was she not? See, this is the thing that's fucking me up. Was she, or was it Like, when did this happen in regard to each other? I like that idea, but the timing just doesn't work. Truly then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room. Alright, Judge, shut up my idea, why don't you? Yes. Yes, of course. Olive. Olive. It's all some sort of misunderstanding. Isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir? You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note. I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. Van Zieks just wants the truth. Always what he's been about. You would do well to remember that. Oh, dearie me. What's Lord Van Zieks getting at? I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I?
Hold it!
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare 1 week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless. Miss Green could have only come to be in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though? Yes, we should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruhodo. We're close now. I can feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough. Why would I? Is it the poison? Are we presenting the poison as the reason why she broke in? I think so.
Objection!
I think so. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilt during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry set, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare? Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason, and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room with poison. Can this be? You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie me. Rip. Order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill? Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely? Well, that's a very good point. Perhaps not, my lord. I beg your pardon? There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord Van Zieks. And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Shamspeare's address. More activity? Oh, yes. I mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder. That's right. As the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamsphere was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamsphere had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant. And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end. The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted. That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shamsphere was mysteriously poisoned. Uh-oh. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. Mary! Or her little box Olive's standing on. With that new understanding, it becomes clear this letter was all part of the plan. What plan? The court will recall the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. I fucking knew it! I knew it! Olive wrote the fucking note. I knew it. To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say that letter was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room. She just forgot the little piece. Order, order. What do you have to say for yourself, witness? Oh, shit. Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? Miss Green's motive should be obvious. You killed her fiancé, Dick. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial. So, that's what's behind all this. It's revenge, right? You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life? None other than one Mr. Duncan Ross.
Take that!
Duncan Ross? That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume took up residence in the lodgings of Mr. Gardebs, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. That does ring a bell. Ah, of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such. Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind. Nor was it an accident. Yep. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamsphere blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Ah! Oh, fuck. Here we go. Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths. That's all people care about. If it's an interesting story they want to know, it doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you... Duncan was... Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé. Fiancé? You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamsphere. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy. The murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry? Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspear, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe? This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? He said that word a few times and I get surprised. It's now being contextualized. Each on different counts of murder? Yes, my lord. That's correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded. What? Why would Mr. Shamspear have wanted to kill these lodgers, as you say? You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusation against the man. Yes. That's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green. I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel.
Objection!
But you broke into the man's room. If you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? Her little sword and shield. I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. Sorry? You're right, I suspected him. But I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh vileness! Oh villainy! Oh tyranny! Oh rotundity of woman! But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks on the doors are no different. Duncan should be once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness! Oh artfulness! Oh tyranny! Oh profanity of woman! We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion. But for now, tell the court what you find. What evidence your search revealed. Well, I spotted the note that I'd sent him lying on the floor. When I went to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place. Eh? Yes, we also discovered that hiding place. Inside we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Ah, yes. Well, the thing is, when I found it, the box wasn't empty. Yep. What? There was something in it? Yes. This rather nice key. Ah! What are you doing with that? What the? Every ounce of colour is drained from his face. Give it here. Give it to me now. It's mine. I inherited it. What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it? No, What's all this about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you since you'd gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute. Give it to me. Calm yourself, witness. So Mr. Shamspear has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. Is it because there was the criminal there? It's true there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shamspear, at first. But considering everything we know now, I think there is actually something that could explain it. What? Need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the link that runs through all these events. What's the key for? In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it you say can explain the motivation for Mr. Shamspear's alleged crimes? Save first, yeah, sure. It has to be something to do with the criminal, right? Oh, the lit. Is the loot in the apartment? Surely the police would have searched there though, right? I feel like it has to be about the criminal, right?
Take that!
Nope. Oh, maybe. That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file? How did you get hold of that? It's a Selden? The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant Mr. Natsume have only one thing linking them. The fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well, yes. We know this, certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden. Until that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries. I see. And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. The some £1,000 worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Ah, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here. £1,000 lost en route to hell. That was how the paper somehow summed it up. And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Okay. Ah, you mean this key is... Mr. Shamspeare, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? What are you talking about? This is a false charge, I tell you, a false charge. The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file, but a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is. But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convict's lodgings? There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. Ah, I'm such a fucking genius. Let's go. So, it all comes out. Yes. And having established that, all of Mr. Shamspeare's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for Mr. Gardev's lodgings in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old room had already been let to somebody else, Mr. Duncan Ross. So they're all just like, wrong place, wrong time. Which is why Mr. Shamspeare subsequently devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. When he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it. Mr. Sosuke Natsume? The defendant of this case, no less. So he decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Shamspeare? This time to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason. To get your hands on the £1,000 of loot left behind by the dead convict. Uh-oh. I thought he was gonna like reanimate or something, like a marionette doll. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it. Oh, so this is the convict. Look, I'm gonna snuff it before they do my neck. Listen, I want you to have me loot. Anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. This is Selden, right? It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here, This is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shamspear. This game is so fun, man. It's mine. Uh-oh. Here we go. What did he just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Oh god. Mr. Shamspear? It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there's nothing you can do. You can't arrest me, for the time being anyway. Verily, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close, I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man is guilty through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him. No. He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on the loot. Which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan. Were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. As I said, the police would have found it. If it's there at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule. If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly. This is the final piece in this complex puzzle. But I think we might have it in our possession already. Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden. The fingerprint thing, really? The skin print thing, right? My lord? Yes, counsel? The defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we are already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to its whereabouts. It's our last chance. So it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've all used the same technique once already, and it definitely paid off then. Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose we can use in order to locate the hiding place of the deceased convict's haul? We use the skin print gun.
Take that!
Hey, Charlie. I didn't fix the alerts. Fuck. 29. This is getting out of hand. Thank you, Charlie, very much. Very, very appreciated. We're going a little bit long today because we're very into our episode. I need to fix those fucking alerts. I keep forgetting to turn up, like, to set them all up. Thanks, Charlie. Very, very appreciated. If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shamspear's handprints on the wall of his lodgings. That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective, Mr. Sholmes. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bard ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shamspear. Perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah! 'Tis Herlock Sholmes himself! What are you doing here, great detective? Your usual haunts are the filthy backstreets of the capital, are they not? Ah, Mr. Reaper, it's been too long. And I see your complexion has worsened since we last met. Mr. Sholmes. He does know Lord Van Zieks then. Why not say something like that in any case? Mr. Sholmes, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come and go in my courtroom as you see fit. If I may, my lord, Mr. Sholmes' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already. Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by an individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. Ah! You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched to make an indicator solution. In your case, sir, I used the teacup you've been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Suzuki-san's room. We need a sample to help locate Selden's loot that is hidden in his old room. What form will the sample take? The key, right? We will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find his loot. And something the convict owned happens to be in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From whom can we obtain a possession of the late convict, Selden, to create the indicator solution? Olive, and your key.
Take that!
Miss Green. Me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. It's like... sorry. Sorry? The key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on its surface that we can use. Very true. That is a sample we need. Using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Sholmes' skin print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Ah! Mr. Shamsbury, one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's haul is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. Ah! So, Mr. Shamsbury, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hand on Selden's stolen wealth. Ah! Ah! In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Sholmes have this key. No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it! It's over, Mr. Shamsbury. No. No. You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit your guilt. Whoa. Oh, shameful spear. Despair. By thy name. Oh. Fucking Gatha. His hat, no. I never intended to kill the man. I just wanted to drive him out of the room, that's all. So you'd have time to find the convict's hole of stolen goods? Yet after you killed the young man, you still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? I was 3 months behind with the rent, for one thing. Mr. Gardeb really has had a lot to put up with. Landlords have such hard lives, And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterwards, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mr. Natsume, what unfortunate timing. Then, 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance, but it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by the police night and day. And if I remember rightly, Mr. Sholmes spent the whole day there in the reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, you once again tried your trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shamsbury, how does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. But let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. Ha. Yeesh. At first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'll never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. Oh no. The gas supply in my new lodgings are a complete disaster, you know, Olive. The gas supply? Yes, the stove always seems to go out in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms in my house. Why did you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I better not. We said we'd wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? That was the last time we ever spoke. That very night he fell victim to the gas. Man. If only I'd known it was going to happen. I'd have insisted he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a stooped Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to Grub's Grubbery for some food, so I followed him and sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. That place is cursed, I tell you, cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night for freezing to death because the stove has gone out. The room is full of gas and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked. No problem there. It's like, I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking. But how could that be? Duncan was gone and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered. A rumour I'd heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations. A rumour? Ah, you mean... Yes. Everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind. That just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I'd had the idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It plagued me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. Black market? I'd never been. I just heard people talk about them. And you really can buy anything you can think of there. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily made me even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident? Or was it murder? And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with, and wait. If Mr. Shamsford was innocent, nothing would come of what you'd done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. It's quite dark, isn't it? I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shamspeare, and then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 PM on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Poor woman. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough so he'd be sure to go. But I waited to see if it worked. And of course, Mr. Shamspeare followed the instructions to the letter. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away, so I smeared a good amount of the poison I'd bought all over around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and it was all just some wild fantasy. But alas, it was not. Actually, no. All the time praying that the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just deserts. Sheesh. Where's Sasato? Damn. 3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward. Yes, my lord. I certainly never imagined the depths of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend. Oh, yes. And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you. Imagine we make Van Zeeks not racist by the end of these games, eh? That'd be the big dub. Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green. Yes, my lord? You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom, as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shamspeare. Yes, I know. Adieu, Mr. Shamspeare. You will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Yesterday, at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left in the poison bottle, I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh. And I'd like to believe that's a blessing Mr. Shamspeare didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. Because of you, I chose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green. Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes, my lord. The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I will call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty. We're in full agreement, my lord. In that case, I hereby declare the defendant... He's free! Free! Woohoo! Woo! He's out. For the second time, they can go back to Japan. Court is adjourned. Poor guy, he's gonna go back to Japan and get involved in another case or something. 23rd of February, 3:24 PM. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber 3? Nope, just Defendant's Antechamber. Oh, yes. Yes, at last. Divine justice duly done. Divine justice? My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. No, this has nothing to do with my mustache. Some say that a luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Look, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Once again, you've saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. Congratulations on your acquittal. You're second in almost as many days. I was first acquitted with and gained affection for English literature within our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that bore the fruit of that literature. Only, the city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly old books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? The eyebrows. But a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did. I've seen more of life in this week than all my years to date. For the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that so far has been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. My dear fellow, there is nothing special about the true face of the English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see. Whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live. Well said. I've come to feel the same way. I've made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here, and return to Japan. Yep. Because he's back in Japan in the first case. What? Just when we become friends here in England. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings, it really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. A novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh my, so you'll be creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful. Well, no. I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature. Why not? And that is precisely the definition, Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right, yes. It will, in a way, be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no illusions of grandeur. I, for one, would love to read your work. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. Huh. It's very true. And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor. The desire to return post-haste to the perceived safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes. Faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Shut up. Go home. No. And that was the case we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. Sosuke-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. That's right, this is technically the past. The Susato one from the first case is the present. It was on reading that report that Professor Meiko Taba was prompted to visit the scholar. And barely any time later, Susato-san was given the news that she must return to Japan as well. On the back of a telegram stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. The only possible explanation that comes to mind is what happened after the trial on the following day. The day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict in his former lodgings. I'm gonna bait you all there and leave it. Oh. Yeah, they come back next time they find out what's in the loot, huh? Because it's midnight. Oh, that's good though. That's really good. It got quite dark. Quite sad as well, actually. But I'm curious to finish out this adventure and see what we find in the loot. So I assume probably next time we'll finish off this one and then start episode 3. And that'll be on Thursday. Tomorrow we have some of the Plague Tale. We'll continue playing that. So thanks for watching tonight. A bit of a longer stream. I got really into the story. Also completely not going longer because Noodle's hanging out for longer. Definitely coincidental. But yes, thank you for watching tonight. Have a lovely evening. And I will see you tomorrow for Plague Tale, or I'll see you on Thursday for more Ace Attorney. Have a good night. See you later. Goodbye.